CTV News with Kelly Gregg.
Good evening. Canada's Public Health Agency is temporarily blocking visitors from certain countries with Ebola outbreaks. Anyone who has traveled there is now also facing a mandatory 3-week isolation period. Some infectious diseases experts in Montreal say there is little risk of an outbreak here, but also warn against travel restrictions. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil reports.
While the Ebola outbreak continues to grow in parts of Central and East Africa, health experts here say the world cannot afford to look away. Infectious disease specialist Dr. Don Vin says containing the outbreak requires more than tightening borders.
When the UN and the WHO calls for urgent funding from other countries and medical supplies and personal protective equipment for healthcare workers and operational support for local response teams, that cannot be token gestures.
He says the risk of a major outbreak in Canada remains very low. Cases are rising rapidly in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, and South Sudan, and conflict, poverty, and fragile healthcare systems are helping drive transmission. Last week, Ottawa expanded its response. Canada now requires additional screening measures and has suspended some immigration and travel authorizations for residents of affected countries. But the former president of Doctors Without Borders says restrictions can come with consequences.
When we close border, the biggest issue about that is the fact that often it means that you are closing the number of flights, meaning that there's not as much aid that may be able to come in. It might be much more difficult as well for aid worker to come and give a hand.
Joanne Liu says political pressures can also influence these decisions.
There's this obsession to have an Ebola-free FIFA game, and it's not based on science, it's based on fear.
Liu says the challenge is made worse for affected countries because of shrinking international support.
The U.S. has cut in terms of its aid, but so did so many wealthy countries, including Canada.
For Vin, that's exactly the problem. He says the world cannot expect to contain the outbreak without helping the communities at its center.
Science doesn't rely on hope, it relies on work and investment, and that's what we need to do, and we have to do this collectively.
For these experts, the focus shouldn't just be on keeping Ebola out. It should also be on helping the communities already living through it. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
A Quebec woman in her 60s has died after an ATV ran off the road in Saint-Élie-de-Caxton near Trois-Rivières. Emergency services were called to the scene after 6 p.m. last night. An investigation is underway. A new study from the Université de Montreal found the illegal plant trade is gaining ground in Quebec. Buyers looking for a deal are ordering plants online and sometimes violating Canada's rules. Denise Roberts has more.
At Serre-Lavoie in Laval, succulents and cacti are big sellers, beautiful and diverse. They're also the ultimate low-maintenance plant, according to Jérémy Bélanger.
They're pretty trendy right now, so people want a small plant that is easy to take care of.
Importing these plants is labor-intensive. Bélanger's job is to get the permits required.
It requires 2 to 3 permits to bring these plants into Canada.
It's not only to protect Canada's biodiversity from foreign pests, but to ensure plants aren't being taken from the wild by poachers.
So all of these plants come from mostly South America, Central America, and South Africa.
It can take decades for some of these plants to fully mature, and it's one of the reasons why the black market is growing. Bélanger says if you see a large plant for a low price, it's likely been poached.
Some plants can take up to 100 years old to be just my size.
Price and variety are what's driving buyers online, according to a new study from the Université de Montréal.
Plants are really available on common platforms such as eBay or Etsy, so it's really easy to access.
Léanne Vincendon, a plant lover herself, interviewed buyers of illegal succulents and found most knowingly flouted the law. What's more, she says, many did it even though it went against their environmental values.
Consumers use many justifications. For example, they may say that everyone does it, that the authorities make it difficult to obtain the permit.
She says there's no real deterrent against buying illegal plants. Online platforms don't require sellers to have permits, and buyers are willing to take a chance that their package will make it through customs customs. Data from Interpol show worldwide illegal trade in plants has skyrocketed. And Environment and Climate Change Canada confirms in the last 5 years, 655 protected plant species were seized, most of which were cacti or succulents. While it may seem like an innocent crime, ultimately, Vincent Don says it causes environmental harm.
The demand for certain species can, at the other hand of the supply chain, stimulate poaching and illegal harvesting.
Knowing where your plants have come from and how they've been harvested is a good way to keep these species flourishing, even if it takes more time and money. Denise Roberts, CTV News.
Today is World No Tobacco Day. The event was started by the World Health Organization in 1987. It's to draw global attention to the dangers of using tobacco. It also marks 20 years since Quebec banned smoking in bars and restaurants. It's estimated 11% of Quebecers still smoke. Anti-smoking organizations say they are especially concerned about the rise in vaping among young people. Claude Lemieux's family has released a statement saying they will be donating his brain to research into traumatic injuries. It will be given to the Brain Bank at Boston University. The family emphasizes this is not a diagnosis and more research needs to be done. They say they hope his life can continue to help others. Lemieux died on Thursday by suicide. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is calling for an emergency debate on Canada's economy. Jeremy Charon has the details.
In a Sunday morning letter to the Prime Minister, a push from Pierre Poilievre for Mark Carney to answer for the state of Canada's economy. Calling for an emergency debate in Parliament over the issue. You promised you would deliver the fastest growing economy in the G7. You delivered the only recession in the G7, wrote Poilievre.
This is a full-blown liberal recession.
A Friday report from Statistics Canada showed the country's economy contracted slightly for a second straight quarter, meeting the technical definition of a recession. Poilievre lays the blame on the government.
This is people's lives. Behind these statistics are empty stomachs, empty fridges, and empty bank accounts.
We asked people in Ottawa what they think and what or who they blamed for it.
I do feel like times are tough.
It feels like a standstill, and a lot of people that you talk to, they feel like they're never getting ahead.
Are we really in this session as a result of factors that were the last 2-3 years, or is this a reflection of the current government?
Some economists poured cold water on the recession talk, arguing the declines are marginal and don't indicate a widespread downturn.
Economists tend to be very careful around using the word recession. The truth is that the economy is not in good shape. Through most of 2025, we struggled up and down.
But most are clear the country's economy is struggling to gain traction, and that can't be ignored.
We need to deal with this. The difficulty is that certain parts of the country are struggling, while other parts of the country really are faring quite well.
In a statement to CTV News, the finance minister's office called Poilievre's letter political theater, chalking up the downturn to external factors like the U.S. trade war and pointing to efforts to build new global relationships and attract major investment here at home. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
And that economic uncertainty may be leading some companies to pull back on hiring. For many young people, that makes finding a summer job a lot more complicated. Kamal Karamali has the details.
I was just wondering if you guys are hiring.
This has been Tyrese Phillips' reality for the past 3 years.
KJ, I'm Ty.
Nice to meet you. On the job hunt, store after store, handing him rejection after rejection.
In store, you don't hear nothing. Nobody gives you a call. Nobody gives you an email. It is a battle. It's a battle to even want to continue trying.
Now, new data shows the number of youth between the ages of 15 and 24 without a job has been on the rise in Canada. 3 years ago, the youth unemployment rate was just over 9%. Now, in April of this year, it's over 14%.
They're struggling to get that first job, that first foot in the door of the work market.
High interest rates and economic uncertainty related to the trade war with the U.S. has meant companies companies are taking fewer risks. Long-term business investments in Canada has dropped for a 5th straight quarter, says Canada's data agency. Companies instead going with hiring freezes or looking for more experienced workers, or even worse.
Right now, our members are looking to lay off more staff than they are looking to hire.
Rapid population growth over the past few years has increased competition for entry-level jobs, but that is likely to change.
We are going to see some progress for Canadian youth over the coming year as the temporary foreign worker program rolls back. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen instantly. It is going to take many more months.
So experts instead with this advice.
Work your networks. See who you know and see who might be hiring.
I was just wondering if...
For Tyrese Phillips, he certainly plans to.
Keep your head high. You just have to look into the future and just imagine something for yourself.
Hoping this summer is the one where he can finally bring home...
Have a good day.
...a paycheck. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
It was a wet start to the Tour de l'Île today after weather forced Friday's Tour de Nuit to be cancelled. Anastasia Dextrine has more.
It's the one time of year when the city swaps gridlock for gears, and cyclists can enjoy a car-free ride.
I'm waiting for this all year long, and it's just the best feeling of having so much space.
I'm very excited. I came all the way from New York City.
Riders from near and far gathered at Montreal's Jarry Park for the 40th edition of Tour de l'Île. With a choice of routes from 30 to 90 kilometers, the city streets were transformed into one giant bike path.
You get to go to, through the downtown, Park Extension, all through the different cities. You can be with all the people and it's great.
Organizers say more than 21,000 participants from first-timers to seasoned riders took part, including Mayor Soraya Martinez-Ferrada.
This is actually a family tradition that we've been doing for years. Like my sister said, it's really fun and it's free working out.
This year's ride also marks the 50th anniversary of the Montreal Olympics, with themed stops woven in along the way. The event is put on by Vélo Quebec, and this year's spokesperson is Canadian Olympic gymnast Félix Dolcy.
Montreal Olympic Games in '76 is something that is deeply rooted into my culture of wanting to perform at the highest levels and being now myself an Olympian. It makes it very, very special, and whether it's family or people that are already performing in the sport, I think it's a great way to just spend a good day together and push this culture of cycling here in Montreal and in Quebec.
The Tour de l'Île comes after a disappointing start to the weekend. Friday's overnight ride, known as Tour la Nuit, was canceled at the last minute due to bad weather and safety concerns. So Sunday's gloomy weather didn't deter riders.
It's not too cold. While riding, I think it will warm us up. I put 2 layers, so it's okay.
Because in Montreal, a little cold is no match for a few thousand cyclists on the move. Anastasia Dextrine, CTV News.
And this morning was also the 14th annual Laval Firefighters Race. Nearly 12,000 runners of all ages took part in the races, ranging from a 5K to a full marathon. The event is a major fundraiser for the Quebec Firefighters Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting burn survivors in Quebec. Last year, they raised more than $100,000. The playoffs may be over, but the party certainly isn't. Some of the Montreal Canadiens took to the stage at the Luke Combs concert last night. Nick Suzuki, Jakub Dobeš, Cole Caulfield, and Brendan Gallagher all made an appearance, coming out during the drinking song One Too Many and Shotgun Beers. They were sporting Montreal Victoire Championship t-shirts, and members of that team were also there. Coach Martin Saint-Louis and other players were also spotted in the crowd at Parc Jean-Drapeau. Time now for a first look at your forecast. We're at 15 degrees right now in Montreal, some wet weather, 14 in Mirabel and Quebec City, 11 out in the townships. Starting off the week with some sunny skies. We could see cloud build through the day, though, the high 21. Those warmer temperatures stick around through the week, looking like a mix of sun and cloud for most of it, with temperatures inching closer to 30 degrees. Coming up, trying to figure out what caused a deadly implosion at a chemical plant in the U.S. And hundreds arrested in France after celebrations turned to riots after the Champions League win. There's still no formalized deal between the U.S. and Iran as other conflicts in the Middle East complicate negotiations. Ian Pannell has that story.
A week after saying a deal with Iran was largely negotiated, and despite saying he'd finalised agreement in a meeting in the Situation Room Friday, no announcement has been made. However, the president saying that Iran has agreed no nuclear weapons. But in public statements, the regime insisting its nuclear program isn't part of these current negotiations. And again this morning, Iran's chief negotiator saying that he does not trust what he calls the enemy's words and promises and will not approve any agreement until the regime is sure that they have secured the rights of the Iranian people. Now, it's expected that any interim deal could lift restrictions in the Strait of Hormuz and extend the ceasefire, which would then allow time for more substantial negotiations. I think part of the reason why the process has been so slow is that the new Supreme Leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, is believed to be in hiding and messages have to be hand-delivered. The search for a deal, though, is being complicated by Israel's expanding war in Lebanon against Iranian-backed Hezbollah. Despite a nominal ceasefire, overnight Israeli troops advancing deeper inside Lebanon than they have in over 20 years, also expanding their bombing campaign. Now, Iran has insisted a ceasefire in Lebanon be part of any broader settlement with the US. And I think despite the repeatedly optimistic statements from the Trump administration about a deal, it remains to be seen what it is that Iran has actually agreed to and whether the primary war goals have actually been achieved at all. Ian Pannell, ABC News in Jerusalem.
Investigators are trying to figure out the cause of an implosion at a chemical plant in Washington state. All 11 victims have now been identified. Sebastian Robertson reports.
Heartbreak in Longview as officials announce all 11 people killed in this week's mill disaster have been identified.
This work has been intense, it's been methodical, and incredibly difficult for everyone that's been involved.
3401 Industrial Way at Nippon.
11 a.m. Tuesday, emergency responders raced to the Nippon Dynawave plant.
Or hazmat burn. Reporting a tank imploded.
After a chemical tank imploded, spewing a corrosive chemical solution known as white liquor. Multiple workers were injured, while others remained unaccounted for in the aftermath. But dangerous conditions inside the mill prevented crews from immediately reaching some of those closest to the blast. That recovery effort stretched 5 days.
It was equally important that recovery efforts were conducted in a way that preserved the integrity of the scene and ensures investigators have the ability to fully determine what happened and get these families and this community the answers they deserve.
The blast tore through portions of the mill, scattering debris through office areas, leaving conditions too dangerous for crews to immediately access some parts of the facility.
These were not just employees or union members. They were fathers, sons, friends, mentors, and co-workers who helped build this facility and this community every single day. We honor their lives, we stand with their families they leave behind, and we remain committed to stand with this community through every step of the investigation and cleanup process ahead.
Tonight, the community finally knows the toll the blast has taken as investigators work to learn what caused what is likely the deadliest industrial accident in modern Washington state history.
Details are coming out about how workers from a flooded cave in Laos were rescued, with 2 more people still missing. Britt Clennett reports.
This morning, just 1 day after the remarkable rescue of those 5 miners trapped in a flooded cave for over a week, the race intensifying to find 2 others who are still missing. Search teams planning to explore deeper inside the cave beyond where the 5 were found. Rescuers will battle a pitch-black, heavily flooded maze of tunnels, the most hazardous part of this operation.
There is the constant fear in the back of your head that if it rains, this thing that you are, slowly working your way through could very easily be flooded with water.
The rescued miners are now in the hospital and we're told they're doing fine. The first miner was rescued on Friday before the tunnels were extensively drained. He's seen crawling on his hands and knees through tiny passages. But then the rescuers were able to pump out even more water, eventually enabling 4 of the remaining miners to crawl out themselves. Exhausted, but grateful to be alive and reunited with their loved ones.
Well, adding to the complications of locating the 2 remaining men is that this is monsoon season, and we're told another tropical downpour there has indeed flooded up the cave again. Now, the divers, though, they aren't giving up, even looking for new cave entrances to cover all possibilities of finding them. Britt Clennett, ABC News, Hong Kong.
Paris police have arrested hundreds of people after celebrations over Paris Saint-Germain's Champions League title turned violent. Fans marched near the Arc de Triomphe, setting off flares and blaring car horns. Police say groups vandalized shops and set fires. Around 20,000 people gathered on the Champs-Élysées, with police working to contain the crowd. There were reports of a loud explosion in parts of New England yesterday.
The heck was that?
That was a sonic boom. Home security videos captured the blast that sent birds flying, pets running for cover. It was caused by a meteor exploding as it entered the atmosphere. A year after wildfires hit communities in northern Saskatchewan, they're now bracing for what's to come this summer. Alex Karpa has more now on how residents are feeling.
First came the smoke, then came the flames. Residents of Denair Beach, Saskatchewan watched in real time as their homes burned last year.
It's still very devastating.
Linda Lowe lost everything. This photo shows the before and after of her home, reduced to rubble.
There was nothing left except four or five panels of our fencing, which was wood, and we couldn't believe that stood through the whole thing.
Lowe says it's hard to believe how much time has passed, but as wildfire activity begins to ramp up again, so too do the memories. It's a feeling shared by Flin Flon resident Noelle Drimmy.
I know for a lot of us, we didn't think it would actually happen.
The experience changed how she prepares for wildfire season. Drimmy has been documenting her belongings and creating a plan in case another evacuation order comes this year.
We were definitely scrambling in the hour we had to make sure we had our bags packed, and reminding my husband to go fill up the car with gas every evening, just in case.
While Drimmy and Lowe hope they won't have to evacuate again this year, they are watching conditions closely as dry and hot weather continues to fuel fires across Manitoba. According to the province's wildfire map, 19 fires are burning, with 4 deemed out of control.
We're starting to see lots of lightning and lots of lightning cause, so we've got both ignition sources kicking into gear. And so I expect things to be quite active in the next 7 to 10 days.
For Lowe, this past year has been difficult. The memories remain as vivid as the night the wildfire tore through Denair Beach.
I remember just feeling that utter sickness and despair when we were watching our home cameras the night we knew that we were going to lose everything.
Hoping she and her family never have to endure that experience again. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Newfoundland and Labrador is the latest province to declare intimate partner violence an epidemic. It will now establish a task force to make changes. Garrett Berry reports.
Horrifying memories, more than a decade old, still creep in for Georgina McGraw.
I actually still sleep with the window open at my house because I can still feel his hands around my neck sometimes.
It's been years since she went public as a survivor of domestic violence.
2014, September the 25th of that year was my last beating. And that night was not just a beating. I also tried to take my own life that night.
She says she's lucky to be alive, but now, powered by her family, McGraw is committed to speaking up, making changes. And this week, she was added to a new task force tackling gender-based violence in Newfoundland and Labrador now that the province has declared it an epidemic.
McGraw's inclusion on the task force is a bit of a victory for advocates and nonprofit groups in this province because they've been calling for the voices of survivors to take center stage.
I hope that it creates a more serious take on this issue, and really hoping that different portfolios and departments are going to come together to take action.
Newfoundland and Labrador's declaration of an epidemic mirrors one in Nova Scotia in 2024. It was an important gesture, says one Nova Scotian advocate, who said it also creates a moment of opportunity to bring new voices into the conversation.
You know, nurses, police, firefighters, all general, like, folks that bus drivers, people interact with the issue of gender-based violence all the time. And those folks need education and understanding and language to talk about these issues as well.
McGraw's also been working on the legislative level, working to pass a bill, Georgina's Law, that would force the federal government to publish reports every 2 years on the progress they've made fighting intimate partner violence. That bill was just introduced in the House of Commons after passing through the Senate.
It's incredible when a victim reaches out to me and thanks me that they've gotten out or that they've gotten resources.
Garrett Barry, CTV News, St. John's.
After the break, with Dunkin Donuts back in Canada, the coffee competition heats up. And solving skills put to the test in Canada's Puzzle Championships.
I'm Garrett Barry in St. John's. Tomorrow on CTV National News.
Shelves stretched thin.
The rent is too high and groceries are too expensive, and now gas is too expensive.
More working Canadians relying on food banks. What advocates say could ease the strain.
That's tomorrow on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
It could soon be a battle of coffee brands in Canada. Dunkin Donuts will be opening again, with locations coming to Montreal. But will loyalties lie with Tim Hortons? Sylvain Charlebois is with the Faculties of Management and Agriculture at Dalhousie. He joins us now. Hello, Sylvain.
Hello.
So Dunkin's has been in Canada before. Why come back? What's the market like?
It's interesting. So Dunkin Donuts actually left Canada in 2018 and almost in disgrace. The brand was not valuable. It wasn't taken care of, essentially, and Tim Hortons was dominating the market. Now, Tim Hortons is still dominating the market, but its brand has been damaged somewhat by menu choices that weren't necessarily effective. The brand was also damaged by the quality of service, the cleanness of facilities, things like that. So I think that Futastic, who actually has the license to open up Dunkin Donuts in Canada, which actually is based in Montreal, and has experience in running coffee shops with Second Cup, I think the company is seeing an opportunity to perhaps make a dent in the youth market, I would say, and also the third place market as well, that third place between home and office, which for a lot of people has changed since COVID.
All right, well, you mentioned it. I mean, Dunkin Donuts promising healthier menu, more trendy drinks. It's trying to attract that younger crowd. Do you think it's going to be successful? Are young people still going to coffee shops like Dunkin Donuts? Or are they going to other options?
It is successful in the U.S. I mean, you can't really hire a spokesperson like Tom Brady, for example, without being successful. So Tim Hortons actually has made some progress in the U.S. and so it is certainly in a different place compared to 8 years ago. So I do think that the approach in Canada will actually be somewhat similar. And frankly, I mean, from when you think about menu design, there's certainly some opportunities there. I think people are looking for different things, but also the other issue is coffee and prices. I expect Dunkin' Donuts to be aggressive with price points being lower. A lot of kids go to Starbucks, but Starbucks is incredibly expensive for many of them.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even I spend a lot of money at Starbucks, I have to admit. Okay, this might sound almost ridiculous because we are talking about coffee, but does national identity come into this? Dunkin's Donuts tagline is "America runs on Dunkin's." Tim Hortons, so staunchly Canadian branded. Does that come into the equation?
Well, Tim Hortons, is it really Canadian? I mean, they have two head offices, one in Florida and one in Oakville, Canada, and its two main shareholders come from Brazil and the United States, whereas in Canada, you have Foodtastic, which is an incredible company out of Montreal. They're going to be operating the Dunkin Donuts. Now, it is an American brand, but it is going to be Canadian operated. So it'll be up to people to decide who is more Canadian, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit confusing when you put all that together. I might need a flow chart a little bit later. On top of that, though, Tim Hortons has promised to hire 10,000 local employees, scale back on foreign workers. Do you think that's going to come into play here in this possible competition between Dunkin's and Tim's?
Honestly, Kelly, I've never seen a company sending out three press releases in 1 week. So you can tell that Tim Hortons is panicking. In fact, this week I was actually on the phone with an executive at Tim Hortons, and of course, after the announcement of hiring 10,000 Canadians, they're feeling the heat, absolutely. And they're the ones that actually lobbied Ottawa to bring in more temporary foreign workers. So obviously that position, that stance really impacted their brand, and they know. So I think they're committing to Canadians, which is a good thing, of course. But is it too late? I certainly recognize that it's offering an opportunity to Dunkin Donuts to do things a little bit differently.
All right, well, this conversation making me very thirsty for water, though. Probably not another coffee on the day, I have to admit, today. But thank you so much for joining us and taking the time today.
Thank you for having me.
The high-speed rail project between Ottawa and Montreal might still be years away, but there's a new group trying to push it forward. Dylan Dyson has that story.
Between Ottawa's LRT and Via Rail, David Bellerive wants a rail system that will get him where he wants to go.
Time we spend traveling right now, it's time we lose. And it's time we lose on things that we could spend with our family, doing work, or just enjoying life. And for me, that's why Alto matters a lot.
He's the voice behind Go Alto, a public campaign in support of the proposed high-speed rail project connecting Toronto to Ottawa and Quebec City.
Being able to do Ottawa-Toronto in 3 hours instead of 5, this is faster than driving. This is faster than just going to the airport and catching a plane for most people. And it is downtown to downtown.
The project is just getting started, with Alto holding information sessions and mailing letters to landowners for exploratory research, but being met with strong opposition from residents, communities, and some politicians. Go Alto says more Canadians are in favor of high-speed rail than against.
A recent survey by Probe Research shows that at least 61% of Canadians are in favor of the project.
Yeah, we should have more high-speed train everywhere.
If I had the option to take a high-speed rail to and from Toronto, Ottawa, I'd be happy to take that instead. Right now I'm using the bus, and I find it convenient enough, but I would hope that in the future, if a high-speed rail was available, I'd definitely be taking that more often.
There are many factors yet to be decided, such as where the high-speed line would pass through in Ontario, where it will stop in Ottawa, and if it should be built alongside the 400 series highways.
Highways are a bit problematic because they look straight when we're driving on them, but can you picture yourself driving 300 kilometers on the highway? The curves don't allow for that, and it's the same problem for a train.
There will be people opposing because of, they have to expropriate, they have to do a lot of things. So I don't think we'll see it in 10 years' time, but it's a good idea that we start doing it.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
Doctors in the UK are hailing the trial of a cancer-fighting injection that can eliminate entire tumors in patients. Researchers at London Institute of Cancer say it's given to patients who hadn't had any success with other treatments. It blocks a protein that helps tumors grow and a pathway that cancer cells often use to escape treatment. Most side effects of the shot were mild to moderate. Time now for In Case You Missed It. He's traveled the world, but now a Montreal conductor is back home, continuing his mission to bring classical music to all. Here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
Now that's a classic Montreal summer moment. Globe-trotting maestro Yannick Nézet-Séguin returns home each year. Comes for a concert at the foot of iconic Mount Royal. Exit the tux, in come the shorts.
We can hear the birds' songs while we're playing, even though there's like 50,000 people.
Nézet-Séguin will be back in the park in August. It's one of a series of concerts in his home province with Orchestre Métropolitain.
Everybody for one night is just coming across generations, is really truly from people from 1-year-old to 87-year-old people are there.
To that he could say mission accomplished.
I feel always very lucky.
When CTV News first interviewed him more than a quarter of a century ago, he said his mission was to open up the classics to a wider audience. But he says now there's more to do.
To be welcome to music is not only about say, hey, you're welcome to hear Beethoven. It also is trying to reflect the realities of a wider range of people from society on our stages.
That, he says, includes more compositions written by women and the work of Indigenous people, a reflection of his social justice engagements.
What is the role of an artist, of a conductor, in the social discourse?
My best way of expressing is still through music, but also once in a while I think it's important to name the realities.
Nézet-Séguin has engagements worldwide, but he's also signed on to lead the Orchestre Métropolitain for life. Never leaving behind the place where he first dreamed as a 10-year-old of conducting on the world stage, and he's added new dreams since.
When we speak again in 26 years, that we feel like there's a much more diverse and much more open world that really embraces symphonic music and classical music.
Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Coming up, with the NBA Finals set, who will take home the championship on the court?
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
Increasing number of abandoned buildings.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVMontreal.ca, your home for news.
Félix Auger-Aliassime is getting ready for his next match after advancing at the French Open. After dropping the first set, he beat Brandon Nakashima 5-7, 6-1, 7-6, 7-6. Auger-Aliassime now looks to advance past the fourth round at the tournament for the first time in his career. And the Montreal Victoire got a shout-out from one of Quebec's biggest celebrities. That's right, Céline Dion tweeted about the Victoire after they belted out "It's All Coming Back to Me Now" at the championship parade yesterday. The team uses one of her songs as intro music at home games. The NBA Finals are now set with the San Antonio Spurs facing the New York Knicks. We have more on the matchup.
Look at the emotion from Wemby.
This morning, the sound of victory.
This is what you want to see.
The reigning champion Oklahoma City Thunder are dethroned, and Victor Wembanyama,
the San Antonio Spurs have done it,
are headed to the finals. San Antonio came out of the gate on fire. Wembanyama throwing down early.
Wembanyama throws it on his head.
And the Spurs building a lead as big as 14.
And the Spurs lead by 14, 7 minutes in.
OKC kept fighting.
Clean look box.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going on a personal run in the second quarter, cutting the lead to just 1.
What allowed OKC to close the gap?
Shai was being Shai.
The Spurs not letting up after the half. Wemby with the dunk.
Wemby got the attack.
Then the block within seconds of each other.
Wemby here, the last 2 plays.
Julian Champagnie unstoppable, finishing with 20 points, 18 of them coming from beyond the arc. SGA doing everything to keep his team alive, ending off with a stunning 35 points, his highest of the series.
He has done everything he can here.
But it wasn't enough to keep the Thunder rolling.
The Spurs are going to the NBA Finals.
The final, San Antonio Spurs 111, Oklahoma City Thunder 103. Victor Wembanyama, 22 points, 7 rebounds, named the Irvin Magic Johnson Trophy winner as the Western Conference Finals MVP.
This feeling is, I can't explain it. It's so powerful. We want 4 more, we're not done. Go Spurs, go!
Ike Ajachi, ABC News, New York.
It's a puzzling competition with the best in Canada putting the pieces together. Carol Charles has that story.
3, 2, 1, puzzle. Most people think of puzzles as a quiet night at home, but here it's all about speed. Yes! Welcome to the world of speed puzzling, where competitors race against the clock to finish a jigsaw puzzle as fast as possible.
Woo! That's it.
Nicole Bertrand just finished her individual round of competition and is moving on to pair up with her partner, Debbie Hawkins. The duo are waiting for their team match. They flew in from BC to compete. The key to their success?
Deb is phenomenal at sorting and doing small projects. So she does that, and then I kind of look at the whole puzzle and I put together the whole puzzle.
And if you want to win,
you got to have fast hands. Like, you have to keep moving.
Tables full of mixed up pieces, timers counting down, and teams locked in. Players say it's important to keep focus and have a game plan. Ontario native Allison Elgersma is ranked in the top 20 across Canada.
My personal strategy is I love to dump out all my pieces, flip them over, and start with the edge to kind of give myself a little bit of something to start with. Once I have that, then I love to pull a bright, big project that I can pull out of my pieces and get that underway.
First-time competitor Sherry Healy is a little nervous.
I am really excited, but also a little bit stressed, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do, but I'm really optimistic, and I'm hoping that I can complete the puzzle within the time.
What started as a family pastime is now turning into a competitive trend, with tournaments popping up across North America. Just over 900 competitors are on hand today. The event organized by the Canadian Jigsaw Puzzle Association.
It's not just about competition. It's not just about speed. It is about bringing everybody together around puzzles. And we also run social activities. This is for everybody. You can always find somebody to connect with in the puzzle community. We have kids who are 11 years old participating today, up to 80 years old, all walks of life, all jobs. It's a fantastic community.
The competition wraps up on Sunday. The public is invited to watch the action at the Mole Masters Sportsplex in Georgetown. Carol Charles, CTV News.
After the break, this is your chance to buy into the pirate life.
For breaking news and local news that matters to you, download the CTV News app right now by scanning the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Or you can also go to our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca.
This next story might fulfill some childhood and, let's be real, adult dreams too. You too can sail the 7 seas with your very own pirate ship. Peter Sperling explains.
Welcome aboard the Grey Ghost, matey, the finest ship to ever sail any of the 7 seas, or at least Mooney's Bay.
Owen McGowan loves his job, also known as...
My pirate name is Big Muscle Russell. It's not because of me muscles, it's actually because of me pet mussel Camilla, who be particularly large.
He's part of the crew hitting the high seas of Mooney's Bay on a pirate ship, entertaining visitors.
It's indescribably cool. It's adventure. It's truly, in its purest form, just fun.
In search of tourists' gold, it's an anchor attraction here. Fun for families and children by day, escape games for adults in evenings, and now a chance to own it. Pirate Life, a tourism business here in Ottawa and in Toronto and Hamilton, is for sale. This ship can be yours.
We're a local attraction with almost 20 years of history in Ottawa, 10 years of history in Toronto. So much so that we've had young people who came on the boat when they were 4, 5, or 6 years old now apply and work with us during the summertime.
Owner Matt Slayman says he's planning on moving to Europe with his wife and is looking for a buyer.
And it's such a beautiful business. I mean, this, I think, is great for someone who wants to work outdoors during the summertime. They want to be down here on the docks, living their best life from May to October.
For sale, the business. 4 40-foot pirate ships in multiple locations, along with waterfront leases, licenses, and permits.
I think it's a great tourism experience. Sounds like a fun time.
and I'm sure they'll have a lot of interest.
Oh, if I was ever in the market for one, I'd surely get it there. Maybe not this time. I got my small one for now.
Slayman says programs are running all summer.
And in the event we don't find a buyer, I'll still be captain of these ships and we'll still be cruising.
With Big Muscle Russell looking forward to another season.
What we have here is really special.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Clearly, the eye patch and parrot sold separately. Now time for a final look at your forecast. After that wet weather we saw, it's 15 degrees in Montreal right now, 14 up north, 11 out in the townships. Waking up tomorrow to sunny skies, the forecast high reaching 21 degrees, and we could see some late day clouds. Those warmer temperatures roll in through the week and we'll have a mix of sun and cloud. So far, the only wet weather of the week looking like Friday. That is it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening and take care of each other.